Good morning, guys. My name is Javier Endri Octaviansyah. Today, I would like to tell you a story about World War II. I'm limit my explanations to the turning point and the pre-war event that led to the war. World War II, also known as the Second World War, was a global war that lasted from 1939 to 1945. The vast majority of the world's countries, including the great powers, eventually formed two opposing military alliances, the Allies and the Axis. Before the war broke out, there are pre-war events that led to the conflict. The first is Italo-Ethiopian War. So the Second Italo-Ethiopian War was a brief colonial war that began in October 1935 and ended in May 1936. The war began with the invasions of the Ethiopian Empire by the armed forces of the Kingdom of Italy, which resulted in the occupations of Ethiopia and its annexations into the newly formed Italy and East Africa, or Africa Orientale Italia, or AOI. In addition, it exposed the weakness of the League of Nations as a force to preserve the peace. Both Italy and Ethiopia were members of nations, but the League did little when the former clearly violated the Article 10 of the League's covenant. The United Kingdom and France both imposing sanctions on Italy for the invasions, but they were failed to end the Italian invasion. Second is Spanish Civil War. When civil war broke out in Spain, Hitler and Mussolini lent military support to the nationalist rebel, led by General Francisco Franco. Italy supported the nationalists to a greater extent than the National Socialists did. Altogether, Mussolini sent volunteer troops, consist of 70,000 troops and more than 700 aircraft, as well as about the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union supported the existing government, the Spanish Republic, and sending over 30,000 foreign volunteers, known as international brigades, which is also fought the nationalist forces. Both Germany and the Soviet Union used this war as an opportunity to test combat their most advanced weapon and tactics. The nationalists won the war in April 1939. Franco, new dictator, remained officially neutral during the World War II, but generally favored the Axis. His greatest collaboration with Germany was the sending of volunteers to fight on the Eastern Front. The third is Japanese invasion of China. So in July 1937, Japan captured the former Chinese imperial capital of Peking after instigating the Marco Polo Bridge incident, which culminated in the Japanese campaign to invade all of China. The Soviet quickly signed a non-aggression pact with China to lend material support, which effectively ending China prior to cooperation with Germany. From September to November, the Japanese attacked Taiwan, engaged the Kuomintang army around Sinkou, and fought communist forces in Pingxinguan. Generalissimo Chiang Kai-shek deployed his best army to defend Shanghai, but in 3 months, unfortunately, the Shanghai fell off. And after that, after the quick victories of the Axis, there are some turning points that led to their defeat. The first is Battle of Stalingrad. The Battle of Stalingrad lasted from 23 August 1942 until 2 February 1943. It was the largest confrontations in the World War II, in which Germany and Soviet Union fought to gain control of the city of Stalingrad in southern Russia, marked by first close quarter combat and direct assault on civilians in air raids. It was the largest and bloodiest battle of the World War II, with more than 2 million casualties on both sides. After the Stalingrad, the Germany quickly unable to do an offensive and using the defensive tactic against the Soviet Union. The Germans call this ancient urban warfare a Stratton Creek or Red War, and bitterly joke about capturing the kitchen but still fighting for the bedroom and the living room. The second turning point of World War II is Battle of Midway. So the Battle of Midway was a decisive naval battle in the Pacific theater of World War II that took place between 4 and 7 June 1942. Only 6 months after the strike of Pearl Harbor and the Battle of the Coral Sea, the United States Navy under Admiral Chester Nimitz, attacking fleet of the Imperial Japanese Navy under Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto, and inflicting devastating damage to Japanese fleet, which proved irreparable. So, after two of these turning points, and led to Japanese defeat 3 years later. If you're curious about why the Axis lost the war, here is my opinion. The Germany lost the war because winter, especially in Battle of Stalingrad. The Japanese lost the war because lack of logistic supply and the supply route is broken by US Navy. And Italy, because they only good at making pasta. So, and as what people say, the history is written by the victors. But in this case, the loser also have their own version of history. So if you have different opinions, just comment down below. Thank you for watching.